Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I'm starting a new project and I want all of you to be involved. It's the Library of Forgotten Books. One of the things I love doing on this channel more than anything else is talking about books that have been forgotten, books that nobody else is talking about. So often on BookTube and BookTok and Bookstagram, we tend to talk about new books. We talk about new releases. And I definitely do that myself. I definitely support that. It's really important that we support authors who are writing at the moment to get their books known out there in the world. But I think it's just as important for us to look back at books from the past as well, books that maybe have been forgotten. There are so many wonderful books that are out of print nowadays, or maybe still in print but just not getting any sales. That the kind of prevalence of ebooks as a form of publishing nowadays means that publishers can easily and very cheaply keep old books in print even if they're not physically in print, but many of those books just aren't getting read. So what I want to do with this project is help all of us to discover some forgotten books. One of the things I come across time and again in the comments on my videos is recommendations from people of books that I've never heard of. And quite often when I try those books, they are absolutely wonderful. The project I did during the summer, where I read a series of books that have been recommended by viewers, introduced me to some new books and authors that I never would have heard of otherwise. And I want to kind of build on that and share that with all of you. I love talking about books that people just don't hear about otherwise, and I'd like all of you to give me recommendations for books like that to talk about. If I think about some books like that I've talked about on the channel before, right near the start of the channel I did a review of this book, Throat Sprockets by Tim Lucas, which is one of those books that was out of print and I'd never seen anybody talk about it. This is a really fantastic vampire novel, and I'm delighted to say it's now in print again. So Valancourt Books have just published a new edition of this, which I need to get hold of. I haven't got hold of a new copy yet, but it's got a new chapter in it, I believe. So this is, that kind of example of a book that had fallen by the wayside, that maybe was, briefly popular in its day, but has since been forgotten. I did a review on the channel this last week, for this book, Mayday by Nelson DeMille and Thomas Bloch, which is one of those big, cheesy, late 70s, like airport disaster type books, which was really, really fun. But these are, the kind of books that were, you may have seen in bookstores and drugstores back in the day, but nowadays nobody talks about anymore. And they can be real gems. I personally really, really enjoyed this one. And thinking about the channel, probably my biggest, I guess, success is the right word in this area, helped so much by all of you, my viewers, is this book, Notice by Heather Lewis. So this is a book that was out of print. I made a review video about it, which ended up kind of getting picked up by the algorithm and blowing up. It was, for a long time, my most successful video. And I contacted the publisher off the back of that video to say there seems to be a lot of interest in this book, but it's out of print, and they published a new edition. And that was a real thrill for me to get, to have been part of the process of getting a book that I really loved back into print again. So what are the details of this project then? So the details are, I want all of you to think about books that you have absolutely loved in the past. They could be books from your childhood, or just books from your reading life at some point, but books that you just don't see anybody talk about anymore. And I want you to share those books with me. So either leave a comment on this video with like the title and author and why you love that book. So leave a comment on this video, or send me an email if you'd rather at criminolly@gmail.com. And what I'm going to do is build up a list of all of these books. I'm going to create a shelf on Goodreads so people can browse through them and see if there's any that take their fancy. But what I will also do, hopefully, if I get enough submissions in a series of videos, is make videos talking about some of the books from that list. There may be some that I have heard of and have read in the past. There may be some by authors where I haven't read that particular book, but I'm aware of the author, and there may be some that I've never heard of at all. But I will look into these books and and come up with something to talk to you all about them. But I also want you, when you submit a book to me, to give me your impressions of the book, so I can read those out to everybody as well. So I'm hoping this will be a bit of a community project where we can come up with this library of books that have been forgotten, that we are all recommending to each other. I view the channel very much as a community. I'm the person who sits in front of the camera and blathers away at all of you, but you are all part of the community, and your recommendations, as I say in the comments, are really important to me, and I want to be able to share those with everyone else as well. And I think this is an interesting way to do it. So do let me know what you think of the idea in the comments. Do send me some suggestions, either in the comments, as I say, or via email. So author, title of the book, and why you love it, and why you think other people should read it. And I will build up this list and gradually, over the course of the coming months, share it with all of you. Anyway, I will leave it there and say, as always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.